Okay, welcome to video 310. Here we're going to talk about some application money word problems, and they're already things that we've been introduced to in the past. So you know that a penny is worth 0.01, a nickel is worth 0.05, dime is worth 0.10, and quarter is 0.25. So the amount of money that each of those coins are worth. So all we're going to do here is we're still going to have let statements, and we're going to be writing equations based on the information that we read in the word problems. We're just going to have to consider how much each coin is worth. So let's look at a couple examples. Dave has a piggy bank which consists of dimes, nickels, and pennies. Dave has 7 more dimes than nickels and 10 more pennies than nickels. He has 352 in his piggy bank. How many of each coin do we have? So I always like to kind of underline that question. So we're looking for how many of each coin. So since there's more than one thing that we do not know, we're going to start off by writing some let statements. So because everything is compared to nickels, we said 7 more dimes than nickels and 10 more pennies than nickels. I don't know anything about nickels, so that's going to be my x. If I have 7 more dimes, that means that x plus 7 will give me the number of dimes. So I have x plus 7 is the number of dimes, and then the pennies, we have 10 more than the nickels, so x plus 10. Now the problem is our total here is an amount of money. Well, I can't say the number of nickels and the number of dimes and the number of pennies add up to a total amount of money. So this is where that whole amount that they're each worth comes into play. So it helps to put it out in front of the let statements. So in front of the nickels, I wrote 0.05 because that's how much a nickel is worth, dimes 0.10, and pennies 0.01. So when I add up the amounts of money, I have to multiply the value times the number of nickels, so 5 cents per nickel, so 0.05 times x. So over here, we have now the 5 cents times x, the 10 cents times the x plus 7, the number of dimes, and the 0.01 times the number of pennies, which is x plus 10. That all will add up to my total amount of money, which is $3.52. So now here I have an equation that I can now solve. So this is probably the toughest part about this new concept, is just writing the equation. Then it's just like what we've always done. Yes, we have some decimals, but that's okay. We can just multiply through and solve at the end. We should get whole numbers since it's a number of nickels. Part of a nickel or part of a dime. That doesn't make sense. Okay, so next step is to distribute anything in front. So here, 0.05 times x if you want, but that's just one thing, nothing to distribute to. Will give us 0.05x, but then the 0.10 needs to be multiplied by the x and the 7. And then we have the 0.01 needs to be multiplied by x and the 10. So when we do this, our next line will be, okay, and now that we've done all of that, we can now combine any like terms. So I have 0.05x, 0.10x, and 0.01x. Those are all x values that can be put together. And then I had the 0.70 plus 0.10. That adds up to 0.80. So now I've got all my variables together, the x's are together, but I have to move this 0.80 to the other side. So I do that by subtracting the 80 cents to both sides, and then I need to go ahead and bring down the 0.16x because nothing can combine with that, and then 3.52 minus 0.80. So then that gives me the $2.72. 0.16x equals that. Well, now I need to solve for x. That means divide by the 0.16 to both sides. And finally, when we do that, we get x equals 17, which is good because it's a whole number. And if we're talking about x being a number of nickels, it makes sense to have a whole number. So I can take this and put it in for the number of nickels, but that's not the final answer because it said how many of each coin does he have? Well, that's only the number of nickels. So then to find the number of dimes, we need to add 7. So 17 plus 7, that gives me 24. And then lastly, the x plus 10. So 17 plus 10 gives me my final answer of 27 pennies. So now these are all my answers, the number of nickels, dimes, and pennies. And there's a built-in check. We can multiply the nickels, 17 times 0.05 to find out how much that is, and add up 24 times 0.10 and 27 times 0.01 to make sure we get the total of $3.52. Okay, so that's it for this video. So it's just very similar to what we've already done. We're just going to add talking about some money within our equations now. So we'll go over this more tomorrow. Have a good night.